What is struggling? No catch? Catch. Let me know when you finish. You don't even want to go out and play football. You just disappear at the spot. Shout out to Rondé Barber making Hall of Fame. I don't personally like or diss. Let me rewind that.
Cut to it, let's get down to it. Cut to it, let's get down to it.
Welcome back. Another piping hot edition of Cut to It. Week 1 of preseason officially in the books. We're here to break down what we got to see from the underwear Olympic freak that is Anthony Richardson and all the other young, promising quarterbacks who a lot of them look pretty good in my opinion, including Carolina Panthers rookie Bryce Young, who just made his debut. 89 was on the broadcast, on the call for that game against the Jets. What did you see? Let's jump right into it.
Well, it was really interesting. I'll restart. It was a tough broadcast. It was a tough broadcast because 27 a donut, a fat zero. You could tell the vanilla. There was zero adjustments. There was no shifting, no motion. And it didn't go well. Coley, I have a question for you that I need you to answer. Because if I look at the headlines of everything, even watch some games and other folks were talking about it, what is struggling? Because when I've read some articles, read the headlines, Bryce Young struggles, CJ Stroud struggles. Then there were some other quarterbacks, you know who that I won't name, played well, right? I'm trying to determine I don't get the narrative. Maybe it's the clickbait, but I don't understand what's considered struggling, successful, or is it like some unrealistic expectation that these guys have to live up to? Because, so what is Coley? What do you say? What do you believe struggling is? And I'm going to look up the definition because sometimes we get caught up on using words that may not always apply.
Struggling to me would be quarterback who only ever played shotgun in college. They make him go under center. He fumbles those snaps every single time. He's lining up under the left guard. He's not even in the right position. That would be struggling to me.
That's embarrassingly struggling.
For sure. But I mean, I've seen Mark Sanchez do that in Thanksgiving games. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like I've seen players do it. So that's where it's like, I don't know, a guy throwing some incompletions and, like you were saying, very base sets, no motion against base defenses. That's not really struggling to me. And that's where I almost turn the question back to you. What should people be looking at as valid in preseason games? Because these aren't real games, quote unquote.
No. So I looked it up and they have, several definitions, struggling. And so the fourth one of athletes and competitors to be coping with the inability to perform well or to win, content with difficulty. I'm going to go down our list of guys. Bryce Young, he was 4 for 6, 21 yards. He's currently right now the 25th quarterback under Underdog, obviously the number 1 overall pick. Did Bryce Young struggle? I don't necessarily believe Bryce Young struggled. I would say during the broadcast, watching the full game, every single snap in HD, I thought Bryce did okay based on the circumstances. Here's what the circumstances. Here's the menu that Bryce was given. Vanilla offense. No motion, no shift, no exotic plays, no play action, nothing no RPO. It would just line up under center. New York Jets, they came out with a lot of intensity, especially from what I've heard off the first practice. Thursday's practice was bad weather, inclement weather, so they were not allowed to practice. It was lightning, rain, fields were wet. And so teams just did their own practice separately, which was a kind of walkthrough. And I heard the Jets spoke to their coaching staff, and they were a little disappointed because they came out flat with the expectation of the New York Jets. It's the Kansas City Chiefs, Cincinnati Bengals, New York Jets, I think the Baltimore Ravens, where these teams, there is a level of expectation that is having a successful 10-digit season in the win category, vying for home field or first or second in the AFC, and looking to be one of those two teams in the AFC Championship games. That's what I put the New York Jets in, that category of expectations from their fan base, from the general manager, from their salary cap, for how much money they have available currently right now. They have put all of their money into, we are going to give us the best possible way to push for the playoffs. Is that fair? Am I off base? Am I dramatic? Tell me if that's right.
No, I think you're underselling it. I think the Jets specifically have a very Super Bowl or bust mentality.
Buffalo Bills, sorry.
Yes,
also
course,
the
Bills
Buffalo
as
Bills
well. Yes.
Yep.
Patriots, people are saying. But the Jets, I think, they've got the Lombardi on their mind. That should be if it's just the playoffs, if it's just the AFC Championship game, they're going to lose well before that. That's how it works. Like, you can't set your expectations to be 3 weeks before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, I just mean like their expectations is deep. It's not, hey, if we can get out of here, if we can get out this fight, hanging for 1 or 2 rounds, that's a win, right?
Yeah.
That's not their mindset.
No, they're not there to have fun. They're not. This isn't camp.
They're not getting participation trophies.
No,
they're not there to let's see what we got. Let's give it a run, guys. And so with all of that said, man, they came out first play of the game. Bryce Young's on the quarterback. They run a TE stunt. Offensive line for the Carolina Panthers. Their words, not mine. They thought they should have came out matching the intensity. Wasn't the outing that they expected. 4 of 6 for Bryce Young, and people said he struggled. First of all, we heard all about his height and his lack of size. My man, for the 6 or 7, for 4 of 6 that he got hit every time he dropped back at those 4 of 6. Got up. He didn't get up wobbly looking like he was, didn't learn how to fall, that he's never been hit. He didn't look like Bambi, fresh out of the womb, a guy with a great accent that I don't have is whispering. Look at Bryce Young as he gallops through the forest, right? He didn't look that way. There was times where he was under duress. I'm not gonna be here. I'm gonna get called a homer. I watched the game, did the game, and I did not walk out of there going, oh my gosh, the Carolina Panthers are in trouble. Bryce Young, that was a waste of pick. He struggled. I don't know. We really don't know if he had to play the full game, 60-something snaps, 60-something snaps, that Bryce Young would have went out there and had a 64% passer rating. I don't think Bryce Young, I don't think CJ Stroud, 2 of 4 for 13 yards. Yes, he had a pick. I don't think he struggled. I think they did exactly what you expect a rookie to do in 12 plays. you walk away and you say they got some things to work on. Obviously, the front line, they have to they got to give me a little bit better than this vanilla offense that they had. That ain't cutting it. I believe that it was more of a disservice to Bryce and the offense more than anything. It allowed the national media, local media, to throw rocks at the Bryce Young debut, C.J. Stroud.
Well, it's a no-win scenario for these guys because if they play super well by regular season standards, if they go out there, they complete every pass, they throw touchdowns, it's like, well, it's preseason. They're not playing their hardest on the other side. And then when they do poorly, it's like, I don't know about this guy. Should he have even ever looked at a football in his life is how they write it. So that's where it's like, that's why it's like as a player and as someone who's talked to a lot of coaches, what are they hoping to gain other than just like getting out of there healthy? Because that to me as a fan, it's like, are our players healthy? They are. It was a very successful game. I do not care about the scoreboard. I don't care about the stats. Some of them could be interesting for sure, but did we leave this game healthy? Are we 1 week closer to the regular season with our roster intact? That's the most important thing to me as a fan.
Gift and a curse. The gift that you have a talented young rookie that you're super excited about to display his athletic ability, his ability to throw the football. And then the curse is if he doesn't have a good line, if they can't play, if the game plan that the opposing team has is slightly better, they've overpowered your offensive line, then it can look bad. C.J. Stroud and Bryce Young, those two guys, first off, I don't believe they struggled. I also don't believe they had success. You know what they look like? They look like two rookies trying to figure it out that had some information data for us to look at and say, here's some things they need to work on. Here's some things that I'm not really sure. Let me go ask Bryce as a coaching staff, what was he thinking? What did he see that led to him not to do that? And then you go, man, we need him more on tape to coach him up. But what I do believe, there's some people that struggle, and we'll get to, but I have to throw these names out. Matt Corral struggled, and Trey Lance struggled. Now, people, fan bases for each team when I say anything, they're, Steve doesn't know what he's talking about. He's mad. He's hating. He's throwing shade. And I'm going to go in detail what I mean by struggling versus we still don't know. C.J. Stroud went out there and made some rookie mistakes. He threw some decent passes. Now, it wasn't his fault. He was under duress that he had to slide and move in a pocket. Literally, 5-step drop, 2.5 steps into his drop. Man, the guy had pressure. Mm-hmm. And because of that pressure, it made him hesitate. It made him late. Also, your Green Bay Packers, the Green Goblin, Jalen Mills makes a great interception against CJ, which that's just route recognition. That's just a vet anticipating and a young rookie who is learning. Yes, in practice, that play was open. In practice, they servicing the offense, the defense rotation. That's where, in practice, that guy did this. On the play sheet, that nickel or safety, he decided he wasn't going to come down and look at the splits and allow to indicate his alignment, lead him to believe that the pass is going to the right about 10, 12 yards in the middle of the field. They didn't do that in practice. Now in the game, they do some things that you're not expecting them to do. They read their indicators. They look and see and says, hey, I know the quarterback is making his eyes go left so I can go left. But he says, no, I know this play. I've seen this offense before. Who runs this? Man, I think the 49ers run this, I guess. Maybe the Los Angeles Rams run this. Bang, pick. He's a pick because he was late, because of the rush, because of the savviness of the defender, equal to an interception. He made a rookie mistake. He made on Saturday at Ohio State, with the athletes that I have, potentially the first overall pick, a la Harrison Jr., he would have caught that. Possibly. If the defender doesn't read the indicators and makes a good play.
Is it enough just for these guys to get it? If I'm a fan of the Texans or the Panthers, am I just happy my guys got a taste of actual game action, not a practice against another team, not a practice against your own team, not 7-on-7. They put on the uniform, they put on the helmets, they went in between the white lines, and they played against another team that didn't know what plays were coming ahead of time. Is that good enough just for them to be able to take that breath and say, I'm here now, we can, it's like walking up a ladder. You're taking steps to your career.
I think it's steps. Really not sure what we can come out of watching these two guys thus far based on it, because it's still not enough data to really know, how these guys will be. The thing that, if you want to talk about Bryce Young and CJ, what I'm more concerned about is I need a little bit faster timing out of both of these guys. I think guys were I think CJ more than anything was so under duress so quickly that he was just trying to not make a bad play worse. Now, I do like that, though. Because we have seen you're going to see some sloppy football now.
Oh, yeah.
Especially in the third and fourth quarter. And there are some players under duress or pressure, man, they do some things that just make you want to pull your hair out. You go, man, has he ever played football? That's what we did not see out of these young quarterbacks. Didn't see it out of Anthony Richardson. Did not see it out of C.J. Stroud. And we didn't see it out of Bryce Young. And let's be honest, through all these three guys, all three of their teams, they were under duress soon as they said hut. What I did like, all three of them were under center almost, 90% more than they ever have been in their collegiate career, which Anthony Richardson and Bryce Young, just the one time they were under center, it's like, wow, that's a miracle, right? Because you've seen them in shotgun formation so much.
Is that part of college football a disservice, or is it a little overrated?
Over a long period of time, it lets you know, right? You remember, who is the guy from TCU that said that?
Duggan?
Bryce Petty?
Oh, from Baylor?
Yeah, from Baylor. Yes.
Yeah.
Is it Bryce Petty?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. You remember he was coming out and said, man, this going to the NFL was strange to me because I'm in a huddle for the very first time. That's a problem, because being in a huddle is fundamental. That's like you getting your driver's license but saying, hey, I was asked to start the car for the very first time. It's essential. What do you mean? The performance that I was, out of all the three guys that I was most impressed with, is Anthony Richardson. Because I believe he had the most that you could say impressive. He had some throws. He was under center. He used his legs. He made some good decisions. They actually had a game plan. You can see they had a full game plan to display. Like, he scrambled, dipped his shoulder. They had some screens, some play action, him on the run, throwing it. Michael Pittman drops a touchdown. Great defense by the Buffalo Bills by the corner. Can't remember his name at the moment. The corner knocked the ball out. Great ball placement. They had some long throws where he could display that cannon that he has, but they also had some underneath intermediate throws. One, I was a little inaccurate, a little bit high over Michael Pittman over the middle, but he was going through his progressions. And the thing that I walked away with on his 12 or 16 plays that I think it was easier to say, hey, I'm impressed. The flick of the wrist, the way he threw the football effortlessly. They did a great job of really having a game plan where he was able to display his athleticism, his throwing, but also put him in a position where he had to go through his progressions as well. I thought Shane Steichen and company did a really good job. And out of the three, I think Anthony Richardson was more impressive based on his body of work and his lack of experience in the collegiate level.
Do you think the Colts had a more complex preseason week 1 game plan because it's the rookie quarterback and rookie head coach, whereas Reich's been through all this before? He doesn't have the pressure of I need to install this offense, or am I reading too much into that?
Well, Frank Reich and the Carolina Panthers made it very clear that they were going to do vanilla.
Mm-hmm.
They were going to go out there. They weren't going to show anything. I believe they're doing that because they want to make sure that when the people figure out what they're doing, the season has already started, and it's gonna take you a little bit of time so we can possibly sneak up, steal some wins on some people. Because what game plan are you gonna watch? Are you gonna watch Sean McVay with the Rams, or are you gonna watch Frank Reich when he's with the Colts? Which one? Who's calling it? Who's calling the offense? Who? Is it the first half that's Frank's offense, or is it first half Thomas Brown's offense? Rams, Colts, Rams. It's a combination. So I understand it, but I believe the overthinking did a disservice. Now, the blocking didn't help and has led to a huge narrative that it's a bigger issue is Bryce Young didn't struggle. The whole Carolina Panthers offense struggled. And I believe that's the true story in itself.
Now, you said someone else caught your eye as someone who struggled, and that's third-year quarterback right now, Trey Lance. And I even saw some of our other 49er faithful saying, man, that this stat sheet and what I saw with my own 2 eyes do not add up. Because
bro, hey, that's that hey, that's that fuzzy math. That's that Enron, Bernie Madoff.
Yeah.
Bro, that's playing with numbers right there. Because he was out there. First of all, the 49ers did not have their starting offensive line. I watched this game twice. One on NFL Network the first time it was playing. And then I recorded it and I watched it again because I was doing something. I had him in the backdrop just listening. And I had to go back like, it's a lot of color in the backfield, right? We talk about the Las Vegas Raiders. Bro, they were on them. But Trey Lance, let's be honest, he threw 2 picks. It ain't on the stat sheet, but he threw 2 interceptions. Now, Trey Lance and Matt Corral, I got to put them in a struggle because they had more plays, but it wasn't the more plays that leads me to believe that they struggled. And I'm not being unfair. It's how he played. He was just a step or seconds behind what he had to do. Matt Corral was pumping. Trey Lance was pumping and just was not processing and adapting. Lack of pocket awareness, right? All the things that mechanics, accuracy, pocket awareness, processing, game speed, all minuses for those 2 guys.
Now, Corral came into last year injured, right? Was he injured
Yes.
all year? I don't remember his
Yes,
whole...
he was injured. He was injured all year. He came in, and that's the thing. Lack of playing in a game.
Right.
But here's the problem. Matt Corral is also not going to play. He does not have a legitimate shot to push for the starting position. So all you have right now is to play really well, to be trade bait, or to show your team that, hey, I was picked in the third round and I deserve a spot on this roster that I can potentially fill in if anything ever happens. Based off that performance right now, if Bryce Young is not playing next week, you can't go in there and go, hey, I feel good letting Matt Corral drop back for 40 or 50 passes and think that he's going to do okay. I believe Matt Corral goes in there right now and you go, we got to run this football. We got to stop the rush and get this defense on its toes, because if they get any kind of pressure, that's going to slow our offense down, because Corral is going to be a little bit hesitant. That's what I saw.
If the issue is lack of reps, does handing the ball off help that?
No.
Okay.
Here's what it helps. It helps you not get exposed. It helps you control the clock. It helps you minimize and slow down the rush. It helps you get the defense on his toes. No, it doesn't do it, but sometimes it's not about how you do it. You just got to limp your way in.
Yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
And with Lance, was there anything that you saw that said, okay, there's something here? He's the biggest. He hasn't had playing time his whole life. He started football late. COVID knocked out an entire year of college for him. Rookie year, he doesn't play. He's behind Jimmy. They have him running some packages sometimes. And then last year he plays in a monsoon and then gets hurt game 2, first quarter. Yeah. Coming off of an injury. He's ready for camp, obviously. This is his first. This is the 30th game he's played in his life, this action. And so was there anything
one that's unfair to him? That's extremely unfair.
Sure. Yeah, I'm not saying it, definitely. But is there anything you see where it's like, okay, I can see with more reps something could come of this? Or is it just I don't see it for him?
Something can come of this? What it does not do is say something can come of this. Well, I'll rather play him over Brock Purdy. I'd rather play him over Sam Darnold.
And it hurts.
I'd rather play him. I would play him over Sam Darnold. So
okay.
Okay.
Well, does it hurt a little? It doesn't hurt a little that San Francisco, much like the Jets, they have Super Bowl aspirations today. They're not, hey, we're a young roster on the rise. No, we're trying to win. We're in the NFC Championship. We're in the NFC Championship every other year for the last 12 years. We're kind of accustomed to this. We don't have time to be one of these bottom of the league teams. We don't have a Trevor Lawrence. We can take a year or two. We're not Anthony Richardson. We can't see what happens. You can't learn on the job. We need to be ready to go right now.
Their second team offensive line needs some work. They don't have depth at the offensive line. That was apparent. Mm-hmm. Sacked. Trey Lance was under duress before. Actually, he was under duress after the national anthem. That's how bad it was. It was like, zzz, oh, boom, boom, boom.
The bombs bursting in air where helmets going against his chest. Yeah, that was.
What I saw from Trey Lance, man, when he gets outside the pocket, wow, he got a little creative, got saucy. Sitting through the pocket. The touchdown pass that he threw is because the DB, man, there were more hands. I saw better hands on a clock than on that defender. The ball hit him, pop that, and fell into the quarterback, into the tight end's hands, touchdown. Trey Lance get credit for that touchdown. Better to be lucky.
No doubt.
Then a safety who has gained weight that they asked to gain weight is playing linebacker, dropped another interception. Two interceptions that were dropped. Slow processing. I'm more concerned about Trey Lance and Matt Corral under processing and lack of pocket awareness. Also making decisions under duress. The thing with quarterbacks that you're seeing the sloppiness later in the season is how do these quarterbacks handle under duress? Not very good.
And is that something that can be improved upon with more action? Or
you see the way those linemen are blocking? It's not going to get better. So you just need to buckle up, Buttercup, and realize, it's going to be a rough one.
What other young quarterbacks from across the league did you see this weekend that really stood out to you, either in a positive or a negative way?
Positive. Clayton Tune from Houston, playing with the Arizona Cardinals. Pretty impressive. Arizona Cardinals offensive line didn't look well either. And Denver Broncos defense was really good. Applied a lot of pressure. He made some good decisions. Michael Wilson, Stanford, he looked really good. Mm-hmm. I was pretty impressed with that game. Now, what I also was in awe of. See, these are 2 pages of Denver Broncos. They still have an active pass rush. So I was pretty impressed with that. Arizona, I will love to see when Kyler Murray comes back, because Arizona, they're going to run the football. They're going to run 12 personnel, 2 tight ends, 2 wide receivers, 1 running back. They're going to run the football. Old school. They're going to have less shotgun than you ever have seen out of the Arizona Cardinals under center with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray has never been under center as much as he's going to be this year in comparison to what he did in college and with Arizona under Cliff Kingsbury.
Is that a good thing? Is that
I'm just making a statement.
Sure.
He's a shorter guy, right? But he does also, what I was told, he knows how to look. He knows how to see through the passing windows. Yeah. So it's not going to be a problem.
What's the world where this isn't Kyler Murray's last year in Arizona? Because
this world.
Right now they have the best odds for the first and second overall pick next year. Caleb Williams is seen to be a slam dunk pick at number 1. And obviously Drake May, there's other people involved in that, but right now it's Caleb Williams. So what did you trade him? Like this is like a more hyperized version of what the Bears just went through.
I think you hold on. First of all, I don't know if they're going to sit there and try to be terrible. The head coach, a new head coach who's just
I don't know that it's their call.
I know, but the new head coach that comes from the Super Bowl, I don't think he's sitting there going, hey, we're going to go out here and try to lose every football game.
Sure.
I believe he wants to come out there and win, because his reputation, his coach's livelihood is on the line. You already have Kyler Murray under this contract, and it's a huge contract. With that big enough contract, I don't know. A lot of things could change between today we're recording and the end of the season. Right? I don't know if you know this. How many days are left in the year? Do you know?
Where are we? August? 4 months, 30 days. 132?
139 days until the end of the year.
I was close. I was a week
you were
off.
Close. That's impressive. But think about in 139 days, how many football games are going to be played, how many trades are going to happen, how many trades are not going to happen, and how many conversations will happen that are going to blow our minds and blow our socks off because it starts all over again, depending on the team and who's available and how they play in these 138 days remaining, because this day is damn near over because it already started. So I don't know, but here's what I do think and believe based off information that I have. You can't move that much money. You can't move that much weight during the day. You got to do some stuff behind the scenes than at night when everybody's sleeping. And I'm not sure that that's too much weight, bro. Yes, I'm talking about what people are thinking, and I'm thinking of it. I'm saying it in that capacity because you can't move $200 million without raising a few red flags and people going, hey, we've never seen that card before. Bro, you can't move Kyler Murray in that contract and draft the first overall pick, USC Caleb Williams. Because you also have to have someone who, when they trade for you, have to have the type of offense and offensive coordinator that everybody see eye to eye.
Well, let's transition.
What teams do you think, if Kyler Murray's on a trading block today or in a couple of months?
Oh, this is very much in the offseason thing. I don't think he's getting traded mid-season.
I know, but even in offseason, what teams? Talk to me.
Let me transition. Yeah. Let's transition because when we can also stay on topic with this because I think it works well. There was a quarterback who took all the headlines from C.J. Stroud's debut. It was Malik Cunningham. He came in at the end of the game. He was running around. He was throwing a little bit. He had the reverse of a Trey Lance. He threw a touchdown that bounced off the receiver's hands. And he went undrafted because of his lack of accuracy. Now, if I were to look at the Patriots, I would say their quarterback room right now, at best, is mediocre. Like, if everything goes well, it's mediocre. But I know Bob Kraft has been publicly not thrilled with how the quarterback situation has been since Brady left. If there were ever going to be a team, the Patriots were in heavy talks with Kingsbury before he went to Tahiti or wherever he's been for the last 6 months. I don't think it's crazy to assume that they would, instead of trying again with a young quarterback, would try and hit an acceleration button and take on Kyler Murray. I don't think that's that insane. If things go poorly this year, if they make the playoffs, I think this comes off the table. But if things go poorly, which based on their strength of schedule, their own division being as good as it is, and their quarterback play not being that tremendous, I don't think is that crazy.
So here's the only question I have. Everything you said, does that mean Bill O'Brien is still your offensive coordinator?
I think so. I don't think that would be. Okay. Do you think he would work or no? You would know better than I would.
I'm just throwing it out there.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, I don't. If things go poorly this season, which they probably will, like I don't know that that's Bill O'Brien's fault. You know what I mean? Like, I don't know that it's Bill Belichick's fault. I don't know that it's any of their faults. It is what it is.
Okay. All right. Cunningham is an interesting. Cunningham, it was cool to watch him. Yeah. Now the question is, he played quarterback, but I heard he was playing wide receiver. They had him lined up everywhere but quarterback. Now he comes out there and play quarterback. Is he a guy that all of a sudden is Cunningham the new Zappy or Zippy? Is he the guy is he the attractive backup that we want him because the other guy we don't like the way he looks. We don't like his outfit.
I mean, the biggest problem with Zappy to me, and it was something I said a lot last season, he and Mac Jones are the same player, like to the T. The arm strength, not their strong suit, their accuracy guys. And my biggest point last year with wanting to go with Zappy over Mac is he was playing more confidently. He wasn't injured like Mac was. So it was like ride the confident, non-injured guy, especially if they're the same player. What Malik gives you is something completely different. He can run around. He's got a stronger arm, obviously less accurate, but stronger. And I don't know. I think accuracy to a point is a bit overrated. Whereas if you're talking 5 percentage points, like if someone throws 65% versus 60, that's 5 throws over 100 that you're completing versus incomplete. Like, that's not enough. Ooh. That's 30 yards. That's not enough for me to be like, yes, this guy can't play.
Here's your problem with accuracy. Inaccurate, and when you're inaccurate, it rears its ugly head at the wrong time.
Definitely can.
Inaccuracy is like children when they get sick. They never get sick when you need them to. Like 10 a.m., noon, 1:15 in the afternoon. No, they get sick and throw up at 1 a.m., 2:35 a.m., 4:15. It's usually at the most inconvenience moment that it possibly can be. That's the problem with inaccurate quarterbacks that people get scared of. Is on 3rd and 5 and he's rolling to his right and he has a wide open guy, but he's inaccurate. So now the receiver who's open now has to catch the ball, jumping 9 feet, catching it at his highest point, keeping his size 15s, right down inside. That's the problem with inaccuracy. And normally, not all the time, but normally, guys who are inaccurate in college rarely get to the NFL and become marksmen.
Sure, yeah, no.
They never. It's pretty much. Somebody may find it. Please do. Leave it in the comments. A very inaccurate quarterback in college becomes a marksman in the NFL. I don't remember
I don't think it's
who it is, but no name comes to mind that you go, man, you know, that dude couldn't hit the broadside of a barn in college, but he got to the league. Yeah, that boy was throwing darts. Ting, 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 ting. There was him and Billy the Kid. That's how good of a shot he was. I haven't seen it yet.
I guess the only person who comes to mind, and it's not even a great example, Dan Marino's last year at Pitt, he was terrible. To the point where, like, the cops opened an investigation to see if he was on that booger sugar. That's how poorly he played his last season at Pitt, and then went on to shatter records immediately in the NFL. But that also ignores his junior year where he was cooking. So that's where it's like we had tape on him being really good. His last year was an aberration, and then he was really good again. But I don't even think I have to leave Malik Cunningham's alma mater to be like, yeah, I've seen this work in the NFL. I've seen it be MVP level. Do I think Malik Cunningham could win an MVP? No, I do not. But Lamar was this inaccurate quarterback coming out of Louisville. Malik's this inaccurate quarterback coming out of Louisville. Malik has better rushing stats somehow than Lamar at Louisville. To me, it's like, if we're going to be mediocre, we might as well be fun. And I think Malik Cunningham is by far the most fun option to watch.
Okay. All right. I really can't push back on you because I agree.
And I think if you're inaccurate and immobile, that's a big problem. At least
that's a big problem.
That doesn't work.
That's huge.
That doesn't work. If you're inaccurate but can pick up that first with your legs, I think it's less of a problem.
Well, if being inaccurate and non-mobile is kind of like being a basketball player. Let me explain one to you. That's like being short, 5'9", can jump out of the gym, but you can't shoot.
Right.
Hence me, okay? Can't shoot, jump out the gym, not a great dribbler either. So I can play shooting guard, but I can't shoot. Man, that's tough.
Picking up a lot of fouls on defense. I already know exactly how you play. Very physical defender.
Don't think you're going to get an easy bucket in the inside with me.
A lot of reaching, a lot of hands.
This Denver Broncos game So I got two things that I really watched. One, them boys played in 9 minutes into the second quarter. They played 4 possessions. Coach Payton was not happy the way his team played. Offensive line was struggling.
Mm-hmm.
I want to know what type of offense are they going to run in here. They're going to put Russell Wilson under the move. He was under center a little bit less than he was in shotgun formation. But Russell Wilson was getting hit. He was getting hit like Bryce Young. Every time he dropped back, he was getting hit. They were not, the offensive line lacked to win at the line of scrimmage.
Is this already a depth issue from the Russ trade, giving up those picks? I think they were 68 and 69th this year. I think they traded up at one point, but those are the picks they came into the draft with. They traded a pick, obviously, for Sean Payton. Is it already rearing its ugly head? Because that capital goes quick.
I don't think it has anything to do with the draft.
Okay.
I think it has to do with the guys that they got in free agency. I don't think they're
McGlinchey,
dual threats. There? I don't think their offensive linemen collective, their offensive line are really built to run the ball. Pass sets are not their forte, and you can tell. Maybe Arizona's just a lot better than what we thought, their offensive line, but I'm not trying to take anything away from Arizona, but I'm also saying I expected a lot better blocking. Just like we expected a lot of better blocking out of Carolina Panthers, I expected a lot of better blocking out of the Denver Broncos. Constant pressure.
Has Sean Payton accidentally become a distraction for the Denver Broncos?
I don't think he has. He stepped on a few landmines, but that's Coach Payton. Coach Payton is always going to have the back of his players, right? I don't think he's become a distraction. I think in training camps, everything is examined. Yes. What kind of shoes is he wearing? What kind of hat is he wearing? He wears sunglasses. He's this, he's that. He said this, and she said that, and he said that. It's so much is reported. Man, I read a report, and I still can't find them. They talk about Rondé Barber. Shout out to Rondé Barber making the Hall of Fame. Shout out to Joe Thomas, my guy making the Hall of Fame. Hey, shout out to a man that I spent a little bit of time on his island. He has great amenities. It makes the amenities and the spas on Revis Island are so good. You don't even want to go out and play football. You just disappear at the spa. Just shout out to Revis making the Hall of Fame, man. Congratulations. Big old country folk, Zach Thomas. I played against Zach, ran away from Zach a few times. Glad for that smart decision.
When you're going up against someone like Revis, at any point in the game, do you just ever go, hey, man, knock it off. Just let me get one. Come on, knock it off.
Yeah, a few times. You just go back to the sideline going, yeah, this is going to be a long day, doggy.
What? I don't want to get too
Calvin Pace. I know Calvin Pace. Remember him, number 97? Oh, yeah. Man, he used to get off on the line.
What is it about Revis? And I don't want to get too sidetracked, but since you brought it up, what is it about him that made him so much different than other corners?
Patience.
Okay.
Patience. He never went for anything. Rarely went for anything.
Interesting.
This is patience.
He was just like, I know where you're going. You can stop all the theatrics.
Yes. But you still got to give it to him.
And he's just looking at his watch like, can we wrap this up? Yeah.
Let me know when you finish.
That's interesting. Patience wouldn't have been what I guessed. That's interesting.
Yeah, patience. Very patient. Love the dude. Great dude. Not a huge fan of not a huge fan of his family wearing the T-shirt that they wore, but it's all good, bro. I get it. I'll send it to Weaves and he can post it. Some folks are at the Hall of Fame, and he had some numbers of players. So one that kind of got me. He said that I had one catch for 5 yards. That was what the stat had. Perspective. That's all I'm gonna say. Perspective. I'm not gonna go down the stat line, but 1 for 5. Okay.
Was that graphic, the Revis Island graphic, the one where?
Yeah.
Okay.
It was some of his family was wearing the T-shirt, and he had 1 for 5 on there. Now, I'm not sure if that's accurate because me and Revis played each other several times.
I think what it's referencing, there was a stretch one season where he went up against you, Chad, Moss twice.
Roddy White.
Yeah, like there was one season specifically because it bothers me
too. Well,
it
didn't say that on the T-shirt, okay? They didn't have that asterisk. They just had Steve Smith. And the person that sent it to me, I said, tell your family it's actually Steve Smith Sr.
Right, get it right.
If you're going to drag me through the mud, at least get my name right, huh?
Like Lil Wayne, please say the senior.
I get it. But when I saw it, I was just kind of like, damn, okay.
Yeah, that's not true.
Yeah, I was going, 1 for 5. When did that happen?
Yeah.
But in my mind, I went through some other receivers I know that I watched. It was like, man, Ted Ginn, Victor Cruz, right there. There's a few other people. I'm like, y'all forgot those games?
Someone I guarantee wasn't on that shirt. Stevie Johnson, for whatever reason, used to have Revis swimming.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah. Huh. That's a perspective, though. You recall what you need to recall at that moment.
Yeah, I bet the other side of the T-shirt didn't have like the Moss one-handed touchdown. I guarantee it wasn't on the other side. I guarantee it.
That one right there?
The very same, yeah. Yeah.
Oh.
Revis said, I think my hamstring hurts today. Interesting.
Hey, but again, shout out to Revis. Hell of a football player. He deserves it. Going to the Hall of Fame, man. Heck of a football player. Loved him. Loved the way he went about his business. It was always a challenge. Always had to watch a lot of film. So he deserves every accolade. And he will, all these guys that talk about who they are, he was the first one, man. It was Champ, him, Dion, a lot of those guys where there were very few guys that can do what these guys did, and Revis was part of that rare company.
Yeah.
You
put Ty Law in that group or below it?
Slightly below it, because Ty was in a different system.
His system was, I'm going to take Marvin Harrison and throw him into the third row. That's my system. And leave Peyton going, I guess I'm not throwing it to that way.
Yeah. One of the things, though, I did notice that I gotta give him credit when I see it. Jerry Jeudy. Tim Patrick has been in my ear about Jerry Jeudy. He's like, big dog, I'm telling you, it's different. Situation is different. Just wait and see. I can see it. What do I see? I can see Jerry Jeudy being a 1,000-yard receiver this year. And the reason why, Sean Payton is such a detailed coach, and he knows exactly offensively. He's going to say, look, Sean is, if the receiver runs a route and finishes here, he's like, no, I want you here. And some people like, bro, what's the difference between here and here? And Sean Payton, no catch. That detail. And why I believe Jerry Jeudy is going to be a 1,000-yard receiver this year, maybe 1,300. Tim Patrick goes down. Cortland Sutton is a contested catch guy. He's going to be the intermediate. But with Jerry Jeudy's speed, that type of speed with Sean Payton's level of detailedness and his ability to create mismatches and draw up plays. Doesn't matter how, doesn't matter why. With Tim Patrick being down, the next guy up is Jerry Jeudy. Doesn't matter. Semantics, why, how, Steve. I'm just saying, based on watching the film and this particular play, Jerry Jeudy goes cross middle. Russell Wilson scrambles, running for his life, scanning the field, throws a pass to Jerry Jeudy. Jerry Jeudy catches the ball with his hands. He had it. But what he did that led to his drop is he was already making his move.
Yeah.
Receivers do it. I've dropped passes, and everybody knows it, and all the people are going to come back and tell me how many passes I dropped. Great. Good job. I am glad you have the internet. Yay, you. Good job. Okay. Right? Hit that subscribe button, too. You like I say, yay, you. Because because, man, I'll say something and people, they will go down and like, hey, blah, blah. Bro, you have the internet. That's a good job. You know what you should do? You should start a podcast and see how many people watch it. That's what you should do. Okay? But I saw with Jerry Jeudy, though, Sean Payton, he says, hey, back up. We're going for it. But he doesn't go for it and go to someone else. He gave Jerry Jeudy an opportunity, and the Arizona Cardinals ran cover 0. He gave Jerry Jeudy an opportunity. Hey, if he singled up, take him. Gave him a little choice route, stuck his foot in the ground, caught it. But Jerry Jeudy did something, and I went back and watched it. When he stuck his foot in the ground, crossed it over, he put the corner in the blender. Nameless, faceless opponents. We're not going to name who the corner was. But Jerry Jeudy did this. He caught it with his body because he already dropped it with his hands. I don't care about that. What I love is, one, Sean Payton went back to the well. He showed his young guy that I know you have done things or you did things that we're down on you, that we don't expect your type of athleticism and ability to be, but we're not going to go down in the dumps. I believe in you. Catches the pass, doesn't get the first down on 4th and 5, gets a touchdown. And when he caught it, he took off, and you could just see it, and his teammates on the sideline. Good job, great job, good job. That's the detail of Sean Payton. That's why I believe Sean Payton is the right guy. If anyone can fix this offense with Russell Wilson, it's Sean Payton. I think he did a great job, and I can see Jerry Jeudy being 1,200-yard guy.
How much does that coaching do for a player's confidence to be like, hey, you got to drop? I'm not gonna let you wait. Maybe even a quarter. Maybe that's his last play of the game. Next game, have that drop on your mind. We're going right back to you, and if you drop it again, that's on you.
As a player like Jerry Jeudy, his first pick, high expectations. Didn't live up to those high expectations. New coaching staff comes in, is super duper critical on these guys, on them a lot. One of your top receivers goes down. Now the burden and the pressure is even more on you. Bro, it does wonders.
Yeah.
It's like you're sitting on the airplane, seat 34B, right? And that seat is, or 36B, and that seat is right next to the lavatory. And right before they close the gate, they say, bing. They call your name, and they upgrade you to first class. Bro, it lifts your spirits. You walking past everybody, yeah, it's not you, it's me. It does a lot, man. It does a lot. So Jerry Jeudy on Underdog, ranked 20th. I like that. I don't think it's too high. I don't think it's too low. Depending on the situation, looking at everything, I think that's where he needs to be. He's going to be a guy that's going to surprise some people, even myself. But I'm going on record and saying it. I used to call him a jag, just a guy. Mm-hmm. That boy is moving up. Moving on up. He moving to the east side. I'm telling you.
I think it's very important for people, your favorite, the people in the comments. You aren't stuck to one opinion. You have new information. You're in on Jerry Jeudy right now, where last season you weren't, and last season was not his best season. So I think it is important, especially in our industry. There are people who get on a take and they go, I don't care how much. Some guy in year 2000, this Tom Brady guy will never make the NFL. And then after 6 Super Bowls being like, I don't think he's good still. Like, there are people who are like that, who get so stuck on a take, no amount of evidence will change them. So I think it's important to point out when someone does actually go, hey, you know what? New information has come to me. I have seen improvements. I am now in. I think that's important.
And people talking about, I have the same energy. I am going to have the same energy. You know why I have the same energy? Because we're doing the show every week. I don't personally like or diss. Let me rewind that. Let me rephrase that. Because I actually do. I am a judger. I judge. People judge me. It's facts. Y'all can act like you don't. I just don't have time to dilly-dally and shilly-shally around. I judge. And I judge based off, hey, this is a first-round draft pick. He can run like lightning. So, yeah. I think Sean Payton is the right guy. I don't care why. I'm just telling you, watching the film, and I went back and saw some of his other things, and I'm going, And then I watched it, I was like, I can see. So, breakout year? Yes, I believe this will be his breakout year.
It all comes together.
I think it all comes together, and I believe it comes together because of with Sean Payton and his offense and the way Sean calls offenses, the way he can manipulate his packages. I think this is a relationship made in heaven based on circumstances. And I can see this being a situation where he can possibly put some other guys in a position to be traded or moved on, because Sean also got some of his guys that played well in New Orleans for him. I think it was Callaway, some of the other guys that they got that he's like, hey, I like this. Yeah. Still, you got Marvin Mims. He's nursing the injury that he's coming back. You got Mims who can press you vertically as well. You put those guys in there. I think Jerry Jeudy becomes a wide receiver 1 for the Denver Broncos.
So you would take him back to Underdog. You would take him over Sutton for this year.
Yes, I do. And the reason I'm taking him over Sutton is the speed and Sean Payton, and the big thing I think about, explosive plays.
Okay.
Explosive plays. With his speed and the creativity of Sean Payton, I can see just like he did, give him a little option route, cover 0, boom. You got a 15, 16-yard touchdown. I think you could do that, put him in the middle of the field, and I can see him doing kind of like DJ, a 60-yard touchdown.
Mm-hmm. And that was, for me, amateur wide receiver scout. What's below amateur? That's where I am. When Jeudy was at Alabama, it was the footwork. So that's where 4th and 5 cover 0.
He has great footwork. I'm not all sold on all the good footwork, because sometimes you can get too fancy. And we'll talk about footwork. Remember that, because we'll have to go in the Steelers camp.
Okay.
And talk about footwork and some of the things that I saw with the kid.
Pickens?
Nope, not Pickens. The second-year guy who was hot. Austin.
Buddy from Memphis?
Calvin.
Yeah, Calvin Austin.
Yes.
Calvin Austin.
Yeah, Calvin Austin.
Interested to see how the rest of preseason rolls on. Get some more data, some data on these young guys as they continue wading into the waters of their NFL career. Right now, they got their ankles in the pool. It's still a little cold. After week 2, they'll be about knee deep. They'll be saying, yeah, I know I should jump in, but I'm just not ready yet. We'll be back next week. Cut to it. I'm Coley Mick.
I'm Steve Smith Sr.
See you next time.
Cut to it.
Cut to it. Cut to it. Let's get down to it. cut to it, cut to it, cut to it. Let's get down to it.